This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. For too long, women's serious midlife health issues have been trivialized, ignored, and met with a just deal with it attitude. Many of us have been made to feel ashamed or forgotten. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But here's the powerful truth. It's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI is not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic, founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. What sets MIDI apart? We are the only women's telehealth brand covered by major insurance companies, making high-quality expert care accessible and affordable. Our clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. We offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions, from hormonal therapies and weight loss protocols to lifestyle coaching and preventative health guidance. This isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will join our patients who feel seen, heard, and prioritized. You will find that our mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the health care they deserve. Because we believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
And it is Car Con Carne, the first episode of the new year, and the first episode of the new year means brand new sponsor. You know, I'm seeing a lot of houses in my area where I live. They're on the market for way more than I'd expect. I can't believe how much homes are selling for in my area. You know what they have in common? Newer roofs. A new roof can increase your property value by about 7%, not to mention having a positive impact on your energy bills. Suburban Roofing and Siding is a family-owned company serving the Chicagoland area. Cook, Lake, McHenry, Kane, DuPage counties. You can trust their more than 40 years of collective experience. They warrant their workmanship for a lifetime as long as you own the home. Their premium shingles are backed with a full 20-year non-prorated transferable manufacturer warranty. Not to mention, it's a green product. You guys are no stranger to green products, I bet.
Totally. We put them away before you came.
Call 224-677-6149 or visit them at suburbanroofingandsiding.com. Suburban roofing and siding.com.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
Ghost Forest, the self-titled album from Ghost Forest. It is raw, it is sophisticated, it is post-punk, it is wonderful. I'm here with Ghost Forest. In the middle, if you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, in the middle, it is Gub. You may know him from Gage, probably most famously, sure. To Gub's right, if you're watching this, it is Brant McCrea. He plays bass guitar in Ghost Forest. You may know him from filmmaking and props and Chicago Rot. We did a podcast episode here.
We did.
At the Rot Shop years ago to talk about Chicago Rot.
We did. This is my art studio, but I would say it's our art studio because there's a handful of people that work here, film stuff, whatever.
Like me?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Rot Shop. Before we do, to my right, he is a drummer. He is a drummer without peer. He is James Kimball. You may know him from bands like Mule, Laughing Hyenas, The Jesus Lizard, Denison Kimball.
Thank you.
What a lineup here. What a band. It's Ghost Forest. And before we talk about the band, what is Rot Shop? Explain this, because on the table with us, there's a bust of Ted Bundy. I got to tell you, most bands don't bring that to an interview.
Like I said, it's my art studio, but there's a handful of us that work here together on different projects. We do a lot of video and filmmaking, effects, scenic building, set building. It's honestly, we work on our own stuff, so it just really depends on what the project is as to how this place works. It was the nerve center for the film Chicago Rot that a bunch of us made, and I kept it, and now it's the nerve center for everything that we all do.
I mean, I walk in the door and I think I want to live here. I mean, there's horror stuff and sci-fi and fantasy.
I might not want to live here, but all, yeah.
I want to visit here more often.
Yeah, I lived here for years.
I want to be here more
In the
frequently.
walls,
How about that?
Literally in the walls.
So before we were doing Ghost Forest, the three of us and some other people worked on the movie score for the Chicago Rot movie. I had quit playing drums for a long time, and Brant got me back into playing drums to do the movie score, and then we started writing songs after that. So
It was kind of the precursor to getting this band together.
Were you sick of making music, or was there something else?
I just, I don't know. I guess I didn't care for a while. And
I'm glad you care again.
I did a band with Ed Roser from Urge Overkill. Around 2000, we made a record, great record. It still hasn't come out. It was supposed to come out on Matador Records back then.
Wait, was this Electric Airlines?
No, it was the Kimball Roser effect.
Okay, that's, oh my God.
So it's a great record. So of all the records I've made, it's the only one that hasn't come out. So maybe someday it's still a great record.
In an odd coincidence, 1 year ago today, I recorded with Ed Roser in my car.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so every year
Well, I'm
we
happy
talk to
for
someone.
him. You know, I talk to him occasionally over the years, and eventually it'll come out. You know, we did like a U.S.-Canadian tour back then, and, you know, it was cool. But so enough about that.
But here you are. I guess since we were talking about the Rot Shop and the stuff you did for Chicago Rot, I'm looking at props and all sorts of cool stuff. I guess what surprised me most about the two videos I've seen from you so far is that they're straight-up
There's no
performance
effects,
videos,
yeah.
and there's nothing rotty about it.
We shot all that during the pandemic. You know, Gub and I currently work at Metro. James used to work there, except he got canned. And during the pandemic, we were getting ready to start thinking about, doing our album, recording our album. And, lo and behold, the pandemic happens, and we were talking to Joe one night, and he was like, why don't you record at Metro?
Joe Shanahan,
Yeah,
owner of Metro.
Joe Shanahan, owner of Metro. And he's like, why don't you record at Metro? And we had no other options. I mean, not that we wouldn't.
We have a live room to do any kind of tunes in the city right now.
And I guess James had recorded up there before. So
So I recorded there with that record I made with Ed Roser. There was actually a studio up there back around 2000. We did the drums and some of the guitars there. Then we did the rest at Chicago Recording Company downtown.
Yeah, we basically took some of our video fam and just said, come down there while we're recording. So what we caught was actually us recording.
And this wasn't the main Metro stage. This was Top Note Theater, right?
Yeah, that's correct. The Haunted Theater.
The Haunted Theater, which I've only been in maybe twice in my life. I mean, back in the day, that's where the Pumpkins rehearsed and Smoking Popes rehearsed. I remember when we did
Guns N' Roses as well.
Guns N' Roses lived there.
Yeah, he lived there.
Like Slash and one of the other guys. Who was the other dude?
Are you guys playing a drinking game where every time Guns N' Roses is mentioned, you have to take a shot? Is that what I just saw?
Maybe.
Drinking's not a game.
Maybe. That's what Axel would say. Kind of hanging out with him in Smart Bar too many times.
So, the origin story, and it seems appropriate in a place like this to talk about origin stories, because we're living in a comic book right now. The origin story, you guys came together before the pandemic happened. Take it from there.
Well, I've known these guys, I don't know, since maybe the mid to late 90s.
Later 90s, yeah.
I moved here from Detroit, and then I ended up, I played in Jesus Lizard for a couple of years. After I was doing that, I got a job at the Metro, and that's when I became friends with these guys. And unlike many of my other bands where, you're like around each other all the time, and eventually you fucking hate each other, we've remained friends, all these years. There's conflicts, but we're doing this band because we feel good about just playing music and, not trying to rule the world like I thought I was trying to do when I was in my 20s. But
we are.
We are. We're out to rule the world, Kimball.
So we're actually friends. So that's like the most important thing, I think, about this band.
The album, the self-titled album, it feels like a live album. It doesn't feel like there were many overdubs, extra takes. This feels like a band coming together and just banging shit out. And I say that in the kindest way.
I think that was the general intent we were trying to do, is take a live feel to our sound. I think that the way we recorded was definitely on the raw. We did a lot of stuff, old school with new school mixtures going on. There is some little bit of overdubs in it, but only stuff to accent certain things. It's not to over portray.
Because that you definitely have an aesthetic.
Oh,
you have that raw kind of.
Sure, and then, that's the weird thing about this band too. Unlike some of the other bands I've done, there's a lot of organic chemistry in this band. I think there's trying to encompass an album and record it for what it sounds like live. It never will do it again, because every time we play live, it always sounds just a little bit different. There's always something else that's accented differently or played differently or connected differently.
So while we were preparing, it was like, we're doing a live show every time we practice. We did some demos at the thanks to the Montrose Saloon for letting us do demos there in kind of a live setting. The way we recorded the drums, for the most part, there was no click track. We just got up there and played, and they were in my headphones, and maybe 3 or 4 songs we used a click track. So we tried to do it like a live show.
I love it. The 2 singles you did for this, there's Buried Alive and Let's Have Age. Mm-hmm. The song that to me sounds the most single-like on the album is Living in Hard Times. I think that's the most interesting song on the record.
Well, it's one of my favorites.
I want to talk about the way you approach the chorus. It feels unorthodox to me.
It's a very layered chorus. Very unusual to me, because I really thought about like how Brant and I would correlate with each other, how we would layer it, and just thinking about kind of almost talking at each other, but also kind of interjecting that non-romantic relation, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
So, a lot of times you get into a song where, I was in a band called Even the Blackout, so we do a lot of stuff that was very like back and forth. She said, he said, kind of we're in a confrontation. And this is just more like 2 minds thinking as one, I think, with Living in the Hard Times. Because that song's kind of a... ironically, I will say this right now, that Naked Ray Gun released the same song called Living in Hard Times. And, I think we wrote maybe the song at the same time, and Jeff and I have known each other for many years. But it was ironic that, same paradox, same time, same title. Songs don't sound anything like each other. But
well, hey, I think that you wrote that song before the pandemic.
Well, I did write some.
And we considered changing the name so everyone would not think that it is because of the pandemic.
It's one of the first songs we wrote.
Living the Hard Times. It was like maybe the fourth song we wrote, I think 4th or 5th, something like that.
I thought it was a little bit up there in there.
So it's really not about the pandemic.
It really wasn't about the pandemic.
Well, it's not like shit wasn't hard before the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. That was the kind of concept. It was just kind of like, the song's about struggle. It's about trying to like, everything you do, always self-doubting yourself, going through battles with your own mind, trying to achieve things you want to in life, and just that echoing in your mind of like, trying to pick yourself up. It's hard, and, making decisions that you want to make. And that's really what I think the song's about. It's just like kind of push through, carry on. It really doesn't fucking matter. Just keep doing it, and do what you want to, because that's what's important.
Another song that I think is fantastic on this. I mean, they're all fantastic. Let's be honest. It's Ghost Forest.
Thank you.
No one. This is probably the wrong way to describe it, but it has the sexiest intro of anything on the album. There's a vibe there.
No one. Really? A sexy vibe to no one.
You want to hear something funny? As you're even talking about like Living in Hard Times being like the song that was the song for you that you would think would be the single. Obviously, when we were trying to figure this out and playing this album for all our friends and just what sticks out to you, and trying to make that decision, everyone had a different idea.
Of course.
You know what I
Which
mean?
is a good sign, right?
Well, yeah, but when
the
you're
band
sitting
means
around
different
trying to
things to
figure
everyone.
out which way, basically like we have no management, we have no booker. We're doing this post our 50s, on our own, and how are we going to get out of the gates here?
You guys don't look a day over 30.
So, it's like I think generally we were all like, we want to get out of the gates.
Yeah.
With a big fist in the face, you know what I mean? You'll find those other songs on the album when you listen to them, but we wanted to kind of get out a little bit bigger than that. But
Well, you're not the first person that liked Living in the Hard Times, so we've got feedback on that a lot of people prefer that song.
Trailblazer, that's a whole mood. There's a slow.
We just made that up. That version was totally made up.
Gave it 4
That
endings.
version was a very fun. Version was a very fun version to record because there's actually live takes from the click from us doing the live performance for drums, actually mixed in with doing layering, just to make it work because we did extra long measures on that song, and it just sounded so great. Some of the things were so vibrant. We wanted to keep them.
There's actually extra drum tracks on there too.
That wasn't even the end of the song. Right?
On my notes, preparing for this interview, I described it as an orgy of sound, which now that I'm hearing the background, that's fair.
So I put some cymbals on my snare. And my floor tom. So we did 2 overdubs. So that's like 3 drum parts on that. Mm-hmm.
One thing I miss in the day and age of a la carte music where people just kind of listen to songs song by song. They don't focus on the album. I miss the art of sequencing a record. I think that is a lost art. Trailblazer in particular, was that intentionally sequenced at the end because it's the longest song on the album? Was it an outlier?
How would we describe that? I mean, that was always kind of like our last song, even live. We always liked playing it.
Yeah, sure. Even in practice, it was. I mean, I'm not even sure if it was actually a song for a long time. It was like one of those things we just warm up to.
I think we wrote that right before we started recording
it.
So it was the last song that was written. As far as sequencing, I think very important, the spacing between songs on a bunch of records I've made, like going into the space between songs. I feel really good about that on this record. It flows really well.
I mean, that's going to be very interesting once the actual LP comes out because we still need a sequence for that. And that obviously, if you know anything about doing albums, a lot of people don't know. Just time spacing, how the song's going to sequence. Now you're dealing with basically, 2 starts and 2 stops to a recording versus like everyone's used to the digital recording where it's like you start the album and there's the end of the album. Well, that doesn't really work with vinyl because you have a so imposed beginning, end, and a beginning and end.
So if you're putting this out on vinyl, we can expect that in 2025?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly. Since what is it, 2-year turnaround right now? Something like that. We did find some places in Canada that actually will be doing faster turnaround, but we'll see if that works as well.
They'll be polite about it.
Yeah, very much so.
It's only human to wonder if you're human. Tell me what Jobs is about.
Oh, exactly. You know what that's about? That's about being Chicagoan. That's about just working and bashing your brains in to continuously keep on working and working while you dig yourself into a hole to the end of time.
That was the first song.
That was the very first song that we wrote.
I remember us working on this song and Gub finally putting some lyrics on it. And he had also just come back to Chicago from Louisville. And I remember thinking like, hearing these lyrics, and I'm like, oh, he's in a bad place.
Digging myself in, man. Digging myself, digging a ditch. I mean, that's all it is. You just, you're working, and you're just digging deeper, and you're never getting out of that continuous path. It's just, you're on a friggin' treadmill. It just never ends, and you're like, they just raised the taxes, and like they just did, which I couldn't believe. I got my tax bill was $800 more a month.
Somebody though else had talked about the way you sang it because you're saying I'm digging myself while I'm digging this ditch, and someone was telling me that one of the shows they're like, yeah, it's kind of like you're in a good mood while you're just digging your own
grave. Exactly, it's kind of what it is like.
I mean,
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
There it is. Well, so again, the album, it's self-titled. You can stream it now I love it. Gub, I mentioned Gage at the beginning of this interview. I mean, you were there at the beginning of the 1990s. Here you are 30 plus years later writing spirited punk rock music. What have you learned through the years as a musician, as a singer, as a songwriter?
Wow, that's a good question because, you know, one thing I know about songwriting is that you're either ahead of your time, behind your time, or right in time. So, you know, I think right now, when we were just getting ready to record, we were right in time. And then the pandemic hit, and it kind of just pushed us back a little bit in time. But songwriting, you know, it always comes from the same place. I've always said this before, you know, many years ago. I always said it's like I have an antenna in my head, and I'm just receiving signals from the greater out and unknown. And I'm just a scribe. I'm scribing down what I'm hearing. You know, that's kind of the context of that. It's like sometimes I don't know if I have a purpose for what I'm writing. Sometimes I'm just hearing whatever the universe is telling me.
And James, you've certainly your resume. If you had a LinkedIn profile, it'd be pretty fucking cool to go up and down and look at all that you've done.
Well, awesome. I would say my involvement in songwriting is, you know, I just pour everything I got into it. You know, just I don't know what happens in my brain. It's crazy. It just fucking comes out. You know, it's not pretentious. It's real. It's like
Completely.
And
I second that notion with me.
Many of these bands that got to playing, I think it was the same thing. We were all just, you know, pouring it out and not trying to force anything. Just, you know. So when I play drums, that's me. I'm my inner craziness.
Well, I always get the sense based on what you recorded, who you recorded it with, you don't want to be pigeonholed as a drummer, like sonically, the styles of music you play, the bands you played with, you like experimenting. And
oh yeah, some of the things I did were other people were guiding me. I'm very fortunate after I moved here in summer of '93 after Mule, Dwayne Dennison from G's Lizard kind of took me under his wing. He's like, hey, you know, I wanted to do like a rock band. And he's like, hey, no, we're going to do this. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to play brushes. You know, I want you, you know, you're going to just calm down, you know, like, and so I'm like, okay, you know. So,
and then a couple of years later, he said, don't calm down, be loud and aggressive.
Yeah. So, but, you know, we toured the U.S. and Canada with the Dennison Kimball Trio. We made those 3 records. I'm proud of that. You know, it kind of, I had a hard time the year after I moved here to Chicago, and that kind of, he lifted me up, definitely. And then getting to play with G's Lizard was just unreal. And we opened up for Bush for a month. That was pretty fucking crazy. And
how does Gavin Rossdale walk on stage after that performance?
Yeah, really.
How?
Well, you know, at the time, I think he wanted more credibility for Bush, you know, like underground credibility. At least that's what I was told. And he was a fan of the G's Lizard, which was not my band. I just got to play with them. But he was kind of like the David Cassie, the Donny Osmond of the 90s.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
So at the shows, it was all like 12-year-old girls with their parents. So when we went on stage, you know, they were fucking horrified. And you know, and it was made very, very clear, you know, David Yao, do not take your clothes off on stage or you're going to get arrested. So
That might be the only string of shows that he probably ever did, not naked.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, there was a lot of, you know, different things going on in that tour. Maybe, I don't know, there might have been some drugs and but it was fucking awesome. You know, got to do it.
All right, so you mentioned the vinyl edition. I kidded about 2025. We can probably expect the record this year?
That's a goal, and that's a definite goal for us. You know, I think that's a feasible goal. We can probably get that out. We've had a lot of interest already. People wanting to purchase the vinyl. I think vinyl's a resurgence, which is awesome.
I think it's resurged. I mean, it's hit.
It is. In America, it definitely is. In Europe, you know, last time when I was there in 2019 on tour with another band that I still do, you know, vinyl's just the thing. You know,
It's the only thing you can't steal on the internet right now.
For sure.
Not yet.
vinyl's a sickness. Just last night there was a vinyl auction on Facebook Live, which is kind of like QVC but for music nerds. And I'm like bidding on these records. I'm like, fuck, Phil Collins face value $12. I'm in. Bid. Portishead dummy. $30. I'm like, what am I doing? I got to turn this off. Like,
you know what it is? What it is with America with vinyl, we really love something tangible.
Yeah.
We miss going to a record store and just being, look at the cover. Let's grab that thing and check it out. You know, I think we're so oversaturated with like, you know, this is what it is and this is what it is and you should listen to this. And before you had to really search out what you wanted to.
Yeah.
The genres were gone. There was no genres. There was rock. They came up with alternative. It was still like punk rock was a thing, was an identity. It wasn't even really a music. It was still an identity. And I think, you know, through all these years, everything's like broken down everything into such micro genres that everyone's lost the connection with just like, hey, I'm just going to pick this up and this looks cool and I like it. Doesn't matter if anybody else likes it. I like it. I like the way this looks.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like how it sounds. Great. Whatever, get rid of it. Oh, I like how this sounds, but maybe not the way it looks. You know, it's that whole connection with you being an individual, going out, finding something that's tangible in your hand and listening to it and going, this, I have connection with it. Doesn't matter if it's alternative, doesn't matter if it's called classical, it can be called shit rock for who cares. The thing is that you enjoy this thing that you're hearing.
Well, I mean, everyone's a collector at heart.
Correct.
So cool that they're reissuing a lot of records with special packaging and my band Laughing Hyenas, for instance, our records got reissued by Third Man Records, Jack
So
White.
cool.
You know, colored vinyl, new packaging. So
They do a really nice
exciting.
job with the records.
You know, he's a good guy.
I love it. Well, I think, knock wood, which I am, I think these generations behind us, we mentioned you guys are in your 50s. I might be in my 50s as well. The younger generations, I think...
Is that a joke?
Yeah, no.
There's no joke in 50.
No. No. I think younger generations get it. I mean, I live in a 3-turntable house. My son and daughter both have turntables. And my son and I have a standing agreement. He's really into metal. Like shit, I haven't heard about the stuff that like Kerrang won't touch. It's too far off the beaten path. Yeah. But we have a deal. Like if I find a metal record with a cool cover for less than $10, buy it. If it looks cool, he wants to hear it. Like that's the way I used to buy records when I was a kid.
Sure.
So I think there's hope.
There is hope. I think you know, I think once it goes from identity to interpretation, I think that'll really help out. Mm-hmm. When it's not like I look like this, so I'm a part of this because
Guns
it's
N'
this
Roses.
group. Guns N' Roses. Well, I'm 50, so cheers.
I just got that joke.
Yeah. I think that'll start maybe connecting people. I do. You know, what's weird is I enjoy this phenomena of like the internet sensation bands, the ones that like get 6 million hits on like TikTok or whatever the hell it is, and then become like sellouts throughout the. You know, it's really interesting.
And they're playing their first show.
Their first show, I think it's
from
really,
their bedroom onto a stage.
I find it very exciting in some way because it's like, you know, here's this kid that put his passion into it. Is it really that, or is it just some guy that's like really good at like
bullshit.
marketing?
I think it's
I know.
bullshit.
I'm saying, but is it really good? Someone good at marketing. That's what my point is like. Is it this kid that's got like, oh, my heart's so into this, or is it someone that's just really great at marketing and like make you a sensation?
I think it can be both.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge people for making music.
And
I don't make grudge people making music either.
All right.
joking, sorry.
So Ghost Forest. Ghost Forest, not Guns N' Roses.
Not Guns N' Roses. When you say not, you can't do it.
Oh.
I don't know what your question is, but first off, in the 80s and 90s, you picked a name for your band, and you're like, there can't possibly be another band with that name in the world. And there's no internet, and you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. And now, like, we made a list of, like, 150 band names before we picked the name.
More than that.
And every single one, you know, like, every single combination of word is taken.
Oh, yeah.
You Google it. And we are the only Ghost Forest.
Not true.
Bullshit.
All right. So to summarize, you are Ghost Forest. We are at the Rot Shop. Thank you for the hospitality, letting us record in your...
You are always welcome.
I
Thanks
come
for
back more often.
You are welcome to do that. If you got somebody else that you want to interview and you want to borrow the space, hit me up.
We have like a talk show set here.
Yeah,
This is lovely.
These tables are also like we can move them any way we want.
Oh yeah, we could do a thing. We could bring in an audience.
That's why we made them this way, so we could move them any way we want.
All right, Brant, Gub, James, thank you guys.
Hey.
I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
really
much.
appreciate it.
And one more final plug for our friends, our sponsor, Suburban Roofing and Siding, suburbanroofingandsiding.com. Thank you for watching and listening.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That was a mic drop. That was an
Jeez.
actual. That's the first mic drop on Car Con Carne.
I know. Like, geez,
Thank you,
man.
James Kimball.
Yeah.
This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. For too long, women's serious midlife health issues have been trivialized, ignored, and met with a just deal with it attitude. Many of us have been made to feel ashamed or forgotten. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But here's the powerful truth. It's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI is not just a healthcare provider. It's a woman's telehealth clinic, founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. What sets MIDI apart? We are the only women's telehealth brand covered by major insurance companies, making high-quality expert care accessible and affordable. Our clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. We offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions, from hormonal therapies and weight loss protocols to lifestyle coaching and preventative health guidance. This isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will join our patients who feel seen, heard, and prioritized. You will find that our mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the health care they deserve. Because we believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.